3 years ago, our founding fathers staked their lives and their fortunes on the most beneficial gamble the human race has ever known. The idea that governments derive their just power only through the consent of the governed, the notion that we are all created equal, and the radical concept that we have a God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Nearly 5,000 patriots gave their lives to secure those ideals. Countless others lost and never recovered their former riches. There's little doubt that the spark which ignited this firestorm of revolutionary ideas began with what our founders considered unfair taxation. Place a levy on necessities like paper, pamphlets, and legal documents? They would not allow it. Tax imported items like tea? Well, we all know what happened there. And after Samuel Adams asked, "For if our trade may be taxed, why not our lands? Why not the produce of our lands and everything we possess or make use of?" Well, there could be only one response: revolution. I shudder to think what these founding patriots would say if they saw our country today. You know, it's always easy to rile the public against unpopular conventions. It's easy to create class warfare. People like to blame others for their problems. It's the rich, or big corporations, big oil, big tobacco. But there's something much deeper here, something less populist, something less easy to accept. We are all to blame. The old adage is still true: with great freedom comes great responsibility. And when we neglect those responsibilities, when we shirk our civic duties, government is all too eager to fill those gaps. We, the people, have allowed government to grow because we were indifferent, because we thought it might be easier to let someone else take care of our needs, and because big government promised us all kinds of things. It wasn't always this way. Before FDR and the New Deal, people generally took care of themselves. They saved for their old age and their retirement. Individuals in churches and charities took care of the elderly and the poor. Citizens were actively involved in their communities. Someone tried to rob the local bank. The townspeople just armed themselves and shot them down. Ask the Dalton gang. People knew their neighbors, their grocers, their family doctors, and again, they all saved for that inevitable rainy day. If they didn't, then God help them, because the government surely wouldn't, nor should it. The founders believed government to be a necessary evil, and they specifically limited their power: provide for the general welfare, raise taxes when required, and keep us safe from all threats, foreign and domestic. Now, you might have caught the word welfare in there. It's true. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution does say that Congress shall provide for the general welfare of the United States. But what the founders clearly intended as the welfare of the states in general, the Democrats have taken and applied to individuals. And that, my friends, was the beginning of the end. What that did was create an entire voting base. Whereas before, a citizen generally voted for the candidate who was best for the country, now he began to vote based on who would do the most for him personally. Sadly, that trend continues to this day. The government has said, in effect, you no longer have to save for your old age. We'll provide Social Security. You don't have to take care of the old and the infirm. We'll provide Medicare and Medicaid. Someone's robbing your local bank? Stay in your house, sir. We'll catch the bad guy. Eventually. Maybe. Been fired from your job? Don't worry, we got you covered. For a little while anyway. Now, these are not necessarily bad things, but like most government-run operations, they are managed inefficiently and they continue to grow and cost us more, not just in monetary terms, but in terms of personal responsibility and freedom. Social Security, a Ponzi scheme if there ever was one, is badly in need of reform. Soon we will all be forced into a $1.7 trillion government health care package with all the expected deficiencies. Threats to private gun ownership are real and increasing. And millions of healthy and capable individuals languish on welfare, all courtesy of the hardworking taxpayers. Now, we are gathered here today because we are united in our beliefs. We want smaller, more efficient government. We want less taxes. We want less government intrusion into our personal freedoms. In short, we want our country back. But the question that has to be asked is, can we take our country back? To solve this difficult question, we must face some hard truths. And sadly, the truth today is seldom popular and rarely well received. Thomas Jefferson once wisely stated, "The price of freedom is eternal vigilance." Well, we have not been very vigilant. In fact, we have been poor stewards of the remarkable gifts our founding fathers bequeathed us. Today, more people are motivated to elect an American idol than an American president. More people can name the real housewives of New Jersey than can name the real politicians of New Jersey. And more U.S. citizens are interested in reality TV than in their own crumbling reality. Children today are being taught a revisionist history of our country and its heroes, one where America is just another imperialist nation, and where our founding fathers were nothing more than rich white slave owners. Yet our founders risked their lives, their sacred honor, and their fortunes for concepts and ideals that have brought freedom and enlightenment to people of all colors throughout the world. They're taught that America is a downright mean and racist country, despite household names like Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Tiger Woods, Condoleezza Rice, Chris Rock, and Barack Obama, to name just a few. And despite the fact that America has more black millionaires than any other country in the world. They're taught that the United States is a warlike empire, despite the fact that we've spread and defended freedom everywhere its precious seed once sought to grow. Despite the fact that we've given away more land than we've taken, often asking only for enough space to bury our dead. They're told that the brave soldiers who risk their lives for these freedoms are ignorant, misled, or brutal rapists and killers. They're told that honor, patriotism, and devotion to a higher cause are weaknesses. And they're led to believe that this great nation was founded on a separation of church and state, despite all evidence to the contrary, including the fact that at the time of the Constitution, 6 of the 13 colonies had state religions, many had religious requirements for public office, and the inconvenient truth that all 50 state constitutions mention God in some form. They've been told for too long that bigger government is the solution to all our problems and not the cause of them. Many still mistakenly believe that we live in a democracy, despite having pledged allegiance to our flag and to the republic for which it stands since childhood. Even today, we are being taught that free markets and capitalism have caused the economic crisis, and that only tighter restrictions by government can fix the problem. And too many of us have sat idly by while these lies and distortions are propagated. Too many of us don't even know the truth about our country's remarkable history, and far too many of us can't be bothered to learn. I say a country whose citizens do not know their history, who do not respect and honor their country's traditions, will not keep that country for long. The trash bin of history is filled with once glorious civilizations that were too great to fail. We foolishly believe that what happened to all the others before could never happen here. Well, I tell you, it can. But unlike those previous empires, we will not be taken down by the barbarians at the gate or foreign invaders. We will destroy ourselves from within. We will dismiss our culture and tradition. We will forget our past, and we will let others dictate a distorted truth to our children, and we will continue to neglect our historic charge to be eternally vigilant, unless we do something now to stop it. We must be patriots always, not only when it's convenient or necessary. We must be suspicious of our government, not only when the wrong party is in office, but at all times. For truly, some of the most insidious incursions